What's going on in there, Dave?
Well, it seems to be Swimmin Dawg for the kill again.
There you go. All right, guys, Glenn and Dave are back, and again, we're on one of the lakes we like. No big shock there, but we only had a few hours to come out. So the bugs are brutal because we had overnight rain, so the carpet in my boat is wet, and we have ankle biters. So Dave's been throwing Silver Jailbird Suick and just kind of slow rolling that across structure. And I threw on regular Swimmin Dawg. I'll grab it here if I can.
A little tiger, and Beanie's being tigery.
So it's a good opportunity to show them the net buddy, Dave.
Absolutely.
And we definitely had a hand in this last year, didn't we, Dave?
Yeah, and I think it's probably been one of the greatest things in the musky world for a while. It sure helps, especially if you're filming. It unclutters the boat. It allows you the freedom to move around and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It allows both people to get stuff done. You're not worrying about holding the...
So he actually straightened a little hook out there. So this is a regular Swimmin Dawg. It's actually the Mag Swimming Dog, but it's the thin profile. David and I'll get a quick shot of this underwater after, just to kind of show you guys. We'll compare it to the Mag Shallow. Just they have a slightly different profile and they do something different in the water. It's a nice little tiger. It's actually pretty thick, Dave.
Acrobatic.
Yeah.
In lieu of the Olympics. Oh yeah, he's bigger than I thought. Oh yeah.
All right. There's a nice little tiger. Starting to use a little bit of road rash on him. I don't think that's a road.
No, no. He only had the one hook in there.
Oh, yeah.
But who knows when he did that jump?
Yeah.
Maybe he got into something. Maybe he was in more. This will be the third or fourth big truck of that. Like the binder was supposed to be mine? I don't want it. My T-truck was supposed to be mine? I don't want it.
Oh, geez. There's one. Little guy.
Oh, making a run on you, tiger.
No.
No?
Here, I think. Oh, just a little tiger. What's going on in there, Dave?
Well, it seems to be Swimmin Dawg for the kill again.
So,
like 5 casts maybe?
yeah, it was not very many. I didn't change. She's just about had it. I didn't change the hook. I just did the old-fashioned bend and put it on. I said, you know what, Dave, let's finish this spot here because historically it holds fish for us.
And when you get one like that, there's going to be another one.
Yeah, lots of times there's another one. So it just hit. It didn't feel very big. It's not. It got close to the boat and it started to make a run, so I just thumbed it out, and Dave's like, tiger? I'm like, no, I think it's purebred. It turns, Dave's like, nope. Yeah, when it started making a run, that's tiger. All right, we'll have a quick look here.
Yeah, he's not much to him, but they're all fun. Makes putting up with the bugs almost tolerable.
Almost tolerable.
Yeah, this is
tiny little guy.
Just a minute, though. Oh, you know what? We should have been getting stuff for Muskies Canada.
Grab that little stick there. That other one was probably about a 38. We won't do anything fancy with this guy.
Nope.
Get him back.
Go play.
There he goes. All right, so now I think move is in order. We got a couple. There's a spot Dave and I want to try on this lake. We've never casted before. Because we're seeing fish on some of that deeper structure, it's a spot we're going to go to. I think we'll go right now. Hey, Dave?
Might as well give it a go.
Yep.
Maybe we can get some of these bugs out of here.
Maybe. So we're going to head there. We'll be back with you guys in a bit. There you go. I dug that out yesterday, that silver one. Yeah. I ripped it around the weeds a little bit, but Kendra is using a bucktail, so it was like counterproductive. That'd be perfect to watch that get crushed right there. Hope I get bombing it out. 15 feet here. Well, feels just as soon as we get out of that wind, eh?
Yeah, that wind is nice. Up there by that.
I see that, yeah. We'll do part of that going over it. Side. Nice one. What do you got going on there now, Dave?
Well,
What is this right here?
that's a Mad Skitter.
That is a Mad Skitter by
Mad Chasse Lures.
the madman himself, Matthew Chasse. Thank you so much, Matthew. You've been such a huge supporter of ours. We want to repay you any way we can. We got one early this year on the mini Mad Tail, and Dave just said,
We just pulled into this bay.
yeah,
And I was chucking a Suick, and I put on a bucktail, and I threw it, and I couldn't get deep enough close to the weeds, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna get Matthew a fish right here. And 3 casts. He's no giant, but it's in the bag.
third one for the evening.
Yeah.
Things are going pretty good. We'll have a quick look at them, and I got a little favor I got to repay Dave here. So it would appear that I may be getting wet here. All right,
Let's get the little sticky stick.
Yep.
Oh, he's cooperating this way.
You say that now.
What we got there?
We got 41.
Yeah, right about there. Yeah, 41.
41's pretty well on it.
Yep.
All right, we'll have a quick look at them, and then we'll go releaseage.
Bugs followed us.
Oh yeah, the bugs are here.
Our first purebred of the day.
Yep. Dave called the spot. We're going by here, and he's like, "We gotta go back in there. We haven't fished here for a couple of years." Dave actually broke Kyla's very first fat bastard right here.
I still hear about it.
Yeah.
Honest.
Oh, that's how you break wrists and stuff. Well, that's a nice fish.
Oh, I love kneeling on that hinge. It was so awesome. Nice old guy.
That's a nice solid fish. All right, let's get this one back. I got my line up my leg. Okay. Welcome back to another edition of the Little Tikes Breakdown, and today's breakdown is brought to us by our really good buddy on YouTube, James Dean from Idaho. He's a fan of a lot of the Musky channels, and he's been a really early fan of ours on our channel. So James, really appreciate all the support you've given us over these last couple of years, and love seeing you when you comment. And we've had a couple messages away from YouTube, so really appreciate that. So today's breakdown is brought to you by none other than J Dean on YouTube. All right, guys, so let's get into the first breakdown. I'm not going to go over it a lot because this is, again, really typical Shield stuff that we talk about a lot on our channel. And I was using the Swimmin Dawg. I normally lean towards the shallow mag Swimmin Dawg with that fatter profile because it's got that little bit more belly roll. But the regular one will get a little bit deeper, and you can see I'm kind of using that pull, pause, but just a really slow pull and reel in quick, slow pull, just to give it that little bit of swimming action. And the regular dog just has a little bit more tail movement than the shallow one. So this area here, all mainland, a lot of rocks off of it. You can tell in the video, it's all rocky rubble. And the key thing here, guys, is shallow edges and then deep drops. And it's like 6 feet deep, 8 feet deep along this edge, but it drops instantly down to 30, and it's just flat bottom. And we've talked about it in the past, and it's finding those vertical transition lines, so where the rock comes down and it meets the soft bottom, the sand, that line up to the surface is going to be an area where you see a lot of bait and you see a lot of fish. So we always run the boat off that deeper edge, and we're trying to cast not right up to the rocks. We don't want to be right on it. We want to try and hit that vertical edge from where the rock goes down and meets the bottom. So this part, there's actually a rubble, excuse me, a rubble mound under the water that tops out around 12, 14 feet. And that first fish, as we're moving down, I will touch on the live scope. My wife had the live scope with the forward transducer up in Ear Falls at a tournament. I only had one set up on perspective mode, so we are not sniping these fish, guys. I'm just using it to see if we see a follow come off the rocks. With perspective mode, you cannot snipe these fish. You might see one sitting up on the rocks. You can maybe take a cast at it, but on perspective mode, you have no depth bearing, so you don't know where that fish is in the water column. On rocky shield lakes, the perspective's good to give you a distance to the shoreline and see if there's any follows that come out of the rocks. And with that wider swath, I can see if Dave gets a follow, I can see if I get one. So that's kind of why we use it that way. And I know it's such a hot, button topic, but we are using it to see follows, and the fish actually hits me, and I don't actually see it on the scope because they hide in those rocks and the scope cannot pick them up. You can only see it when they start to get out over open water. But I cast out, that first fish comes exactly where you would expect it to be, pretty much right on that heavy rubble bottom. And then a few minutes later, like Dave says, about 5 casts later, I'm casting into there. And again, guys, it's right into that rock to soft bottom transition and probably suspended right over that line. Not a lot to go over there, but the big takeaway from those fish are looking for that hard to soft bottom transition and looking for any available structure. Again, you're looking for the edges of that structure. That first fish gave a really cool jump, so that was really cool. Always fun catching tigers. And this one, like tigers, go big and fat, just a little bit short and stocky. And they don't get the length of the bigger muskies, but they're just an amazing catch. So when you guys are seeing spots like that on any shield lake, look for those vertical transition lines and follow that line right to the surface, and that's going to be a key area to target in on, guys. All right, this is a type of structure we don't actually talk about a lot here because we do fish a lot of deep water, but Dave made the audible on our way over to fish this walleye hump to stop here because we've had success in the past and we hadn't fished it for a while. So you see we pull in off of this rock that's sticking out. That's a natural spot that people are going to look to as structure, but unfortunately it's just a flat featureless rock. It really doesn't hold any fish. But right about here is where Dave casts with that bucktail, and he can't get it into the pockets in the weeds. It's just a little bit too light. And because I'm still throwing that Swimmin Dawg, I can cast a long ways, and you have to work together with your boat partner. And I didn't want to move in too tight and cut my cast short. So you hear Dave talk about it after he catches a fish. He was on a Suick. He went to a bucktail because of the shallows. He couldn't reach the back. And right about here, he switches over and he pulls out that Mad Skitter from Mad Chasse. And Matthew's been a huge supporter of ours, so we try to repay the favor with guys like that. Dave put it on. We knew it was only a matter of time before he gets a fish. And making those decisions and the right decision at the right time, he could have stuck with the bucktail, but I suspect he may not have caught that fish because as we got a little bit further ahead, he cast right into a pocket in the weeds and he pulled that fish either out of that pocket or it was sitting just off of that pocket, and he may not have got there with that particular bucktail. Something else interesting on this spot is where the weeds ended, we could actually see a line of light colored sand and then where it turns to darker colored sand. And that transition line, again, going back to like my fish, they sit on those transition lines, and I suspect Dave's fish was sitting right over top of that transition line. He probably pulled it out a few feet. It hit out from the boat, and it's always about making that decision in the moment. And we get a lot of questions like, how do you know what to run? How do you know when to change baits? How long do you try a bait till it doesn't work and you change? Those are all things that come with time and time on the water and preparation. And we knew that that style of bait from Matthew, it runs just barely subsurface. It's got a lot of mass to it. It moves a lot of water. So it's making a lot of disturbance in the water. It's different than that boiler style of bucktail that's really small and, like a cylinder shape. This thing's big and bulky, and it's meant to move water. And that's exactly what it did here. And knowing the location and being able to pick and choose your spots that you cast to in there is always key. And it's the kind of spot that, yeah, we've caught fish in the past, but we don't always stop there. But this year, with the weird weather patterns we've been having, the fish are a little bit scattered, so we have to look a little bit more outside of the box to kind of pick up these fish. So just want to say, thanks to Matthew for, being a huge supporter, and good call on Dave to make those audible calls in the moment to change up and know that just because, we want to catch on a bucktail doesn't mean we don't like that company or don't like that style of bait. But Dave knew in this location, it wasn't going to be the right tool for the job, and he picked the right tool. and was rewarded with an awesome muskie, and it capped off a 3-fish night for us. And you guys are going to see we got a couple other things going on right at the end of the evening. Make sure you guys stick around, because something happens that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and we could have easily stuck another fish and hid the fact on how we caught it, and that's not what we do here at 54 Bus. We want to be open and transparent. So stick around for this next little segment, because I think it's very important, guys. I think he was almost ready to eat it on the foul hole in there. Okay. This one is not coming up.
I didn't want to.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you had them, but
I couldn't do it.
no.
I'd have destroyed that fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just.
No, rightfully so.
We got it today, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay guys, right there, that is the metalhead from Samson Bait Works. We got that from Joe Sampson at the Odyssey this year. So that last little sequence there, guys, I saved the clip, and I had a fish come up on a fouled Swimmin Dawg.
That you were burning on the surface.
Yeah, it come up, it did everything but hit my bait, but it was fouled up. Told Dave cast over, he cast over, it come up. It actually took a swing at Dave, and it come up, and it actually foul hooked itself in the side.
Yeah, and I couldn't drift it. You can't do that.
Yeah, so we saved that clip just to show you guys that, yeah, we could have easily, he could have set the hook because it was actually on, but all you're gonna do is damage that fish, damage the fishery, and it's just so unethical. It's not what we're here for.
Well, what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? And then 5 minutes later, we're wrapping it up early because we're heading in early tonight, so we're not fishing till dark. And he just had another one come up and swing at that metalhead. So we're just commenting that that type of bait, we're just getting into that season.
Yeah, it runs nice and deep, and they all come right up from underneath it. It's nice. It really digs.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool bait. It's one that we haven't had a chance yet to fill them underwater, but we will in the next week or two. We'll try and get some of that stuff done for you guys. But we had a cool talk with Joe at the Odyssey. He was really nice. He actually reached out to us to have us try his bait. So yeah, that was really cool. But all in all, we got a 3-fish day.
3-fish day.
Couple on the Swimmin Dawg. We got one for the Madman, Matthew Chasse, and it's just great. I mean, we really had no expectations today.
And I guess we can say this because this won't air for a while, but Glenn's brother-in-laws finished 1st and 3rd in the Lac-Seul Walleye Tournament this weekend. So
yeah, good things
to them.
Yeah,
the
good things.
Trucks are on fire.
Yeah, good things all around for sure. And for me, it was a tough couple days on Eagle. We didn't have a lot of time to fish. I fished with Richard and Kendra. And Eagle's tough when it's tough. And I just thought, well, Dave and I had a few hours to come out here, see if we could put something together. And we did.
It worked.
And it worked out pretty good. And for another video where Dave and I went out not really expecting much, and we just had a banger of a day, Dave's going to point to that one. And for now, for this Doofus and me, 54 Bus, we're out of here. Catch you guys out on the water later.